Hello, everyone. There's a Leo new moon on the 28th of July. And Leo is always the strongest of the new moons in the sense that Leo is about creativity. It's in it, the sun is in its own sign. It's the brightest new moon, so to speak. And the fact that it is falling on the 28th adds some interesting numerology to the picture. Number 2 is the moon. It is about reflexive skills. It's about nurturing, understanding, and anything that is linked to the moon, really, to femininity, to receptivity. And 8, the number 8, is power and transformation. And it is linked to Saturn. And in ancient times, Saturn wasn't the devil that we are looking at the moment. In the Chaldean planetary sequence, actually it's the highest of the planets, and in the Aristotelian worldview, the sphere on which Saturn's orbit can be found was the cornerstone of the created world, and actually Saturn was the highest energy of the planets. And even today, if you understand that your physical body is made up of bones and skin and teeth, those three are all ruled by Saturn, you can understand that Saturn is not a bad thing at all. It brings difficulties as well, but so it's a very high energy. And if we look at the new moon in Leo, it is very, very strongly connected to anything that can shine, that can be creative. And the number 28, so that is on the 28/1, actually 10/1, really emphasizes this shining, because again, 2 is nurturing, 8 is as you reap, as you sow, so you reap. So anything that you put your energy and effort into will be successful. When you add it up, you get 10, which in Pythagorean numerology was the number of God. And you reduce it to 1, which is the magician, which is the sun, actually the sun. So so there's a double sun energy in the numerology itself already. Let's take a look at the London chart, which will be exact or at 18:55 in the evening, about 2 hours before sunset, or maybe 3 hours before sunset. I haven't checked, but anyhow, you have a Capricorn rising. And if you consider Capricorn and Leo, that's a very interesting combination, because out of the 12 zodiacal signs, these are the two most achievement-oriented signs, really. Leo wants to shine. Leo wants to see basking in your attention. Leo's phrase is like, look at me, please. Tell me that I'm beautiful. Tell me that I'm successful. That I'm good. I'm creative. I'm talented. Whereas Saturn-ruled Capricorn is someone who is a builder, who can create solid structures. Both signs want to leave something behind. With Leo, it's some sort of creation. It could be the son, the daughter. It could be your enterprise. It could be a company, something. With Capricorn, it should be some solid structure, something that he or she built with her or his own hands. Let's take a look at the highlights. In Leo, you have not just the sun and the moon, but you also have Ceres, the nurturing principle. So here you have 2 feminine moon energies, really. And Ceres is about 5 degrees away from the sun-moon conjunction. So it's actually the 3 are conjunct. And the sun is in its own sign, so very, very strong, ruling the moon. But at the same time, there are 2 moon energies, because Ceres is also the nurturing principle and some sort of moon or lunar energy. So here you have a nice balance of the feminine and the masculine already. The triple conjunction, and now this is no longer a midpoint structure really, because Juno and Astrea are really conjunct, and Neptune is a little bit farther behind. But if you take a look at these lines, you can see that they are no longer so the Astrea is no longer at the midpoint of the Neptune-Juno. It really is a triple conjunction. And it's separating because both Juno and Astrea are faster moving than Neptune, and all three are retrograde. But it's still there. So you can still, with the help of universal love or sacrifice, you can transform, break old embedded karma, or change your destiny regarding your partnerships, your spouse, and so on, your committed relationships. And what is also interesting is the Venus Black Moon Lilith conjunction. Venus has just reached and actually is already past Black Moon Lilith. It's much faster moving than Lilith. Lilith, it takes 9 years for Lilith to orbit around the sun. It's actually not a physical object. It is a point in space because it's the empty focal point of the Moon-Earth ellipsis. And Venus's orbit takes 8 months, 225 days. So, but it's still a very tight conjunction. And Venus in Cancer is ruled by the Moon, which is, by the way, ruled by the Sun. So you have this nice. And by the way, the triple conjunction, which will be exact on the 1st of August, is also ruled by Venus. So you have a very interesting chain of rulership here. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, no, let me finish the Black Moon Lilith Venus. Black Moon Lilith and Venus conjunction is about how to become strong in a loving situation. So the Black Moon Lilith describes stamina, endurance, honor, and courage, and also clairvoyance. And the triple conjunction here in Taurus, which will become exact on the 1st of August, out of which the Uranus North Node conjunction is almost exact. This is interesting because Mars-Uranus is about free will, how you exercise your free will. And Uranus North Node conjunction is about how your destiny choices can be changed by helping, with the help of the will. And the triple conjunction in Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is ruled by the Moon, which is ruled by the Sun. So it's an interesting chain of rulerships here. Anyhow, this is what you have in these conjunctions, and the Sun, Moon, and Ceres. And the reason why I blew this up for you to see is to explain how we work in transcendental karmic astrology and how important it is to use very tight orbs. Here you have, on Ceres, you have Dione, Isis, and Ceres. Again, the color coding is the same. With magenta, you have the asteroids, which are always describing the personal karmic layer. The blue is centaurs, which describe our karmic wounds and the healing perspectives, and also special traits, also phobias. And any red is always fixed star, which are higher dimensional words. So as you can see, this is there's a 5-degree between Ceres and the Sun-Moon conjunction. So this is practically a triple conjunction. But with the asteroids and centaurs, we only allow a 1-degree orb. So actually, Dione, Isis, and Ceres are linked to Ceres only. And then Pythia, Hypnos, Amenhotep, and Varuna are linked to the Sun-Moon conjunction. Dione was Zeus's first wife, when Zeus was still living a very ordinary life as the foster child of a nymph. And she becomes his wife. It describes this very young, innocent, hand fasting and energy. And Isis, of course, is a mother archetype. Is Horus she's Horus's mother, and the way Horus is conceived is done by magic, because Isis is fine. She tries to find all the bits and pieces of her husband Osiris, who was torn apart into 14 pieces by Seth, and she finds them, she puts them together, and resuscitates Osiris, and makes love to him, and this is how Horus is conceived. So Isis is also a form of, or energy of, being able to put together pieces that are discarded or no longer there, and to be able to create something new out of it. And Ceres is one of the centaurs, and he's the most beautiful of the centaurs, really a very handsome and very clever centaur. I keep saying, I know that some of you will be very, very angry with me, but I'm going to tell this, that if you have a person who is healthy and harmonious in the outside, it usually reflects harmoniousness from the inside, and from which my other thesis can be derived, that if someone is very crooked and very distorted in a physical level, that person is distorted inside as well, because as above, so below, as inside, so outside. This is my point of view, but you don't need to accept it. But anyhow, so Ceres is beautiful and handsome, and he wants to shine, and so he wants to be able to be better than the average centaur, who half animal, half human, and he elevates himself, and he studies, and he does the arts, and he becomes very, very sophisticated. And this centaur usually denotes karmic wounds around trying to escape your own level, trying to be better than others, trying to refine yourself. That's it. And on Sun Moon, you have Pythia, the oracle of the Temple of Delphi, Apollo's temple. So it's clairvoyance. Hypnos, which is dream. So it gives you dreams that you can be able. It's usually very clairvoyant, lucid dreams. Amenhotep, who is one of the pharaohs, rulership, and Varuna, which is a Vedic archetype, a Vedic god. And first he ruled the whole creation, and then he ruled only the waters. And in karmic astrology, it has a very interesting task, because what I call queen karma is linked to it. And what is queen karma? When you are the queen, and in Hungarian, we have two words for the queen. Actually, a queen can be the wife of a king, but she can also be a ruler, a true ruler. We have two different words. Királynő means a true ruler, feminine ruler, and királynné is the one who is just the wife of a king. And anyhow, this is the wife of a king karma. So this is how we look at it, when you need to produce the heir at all costs. And you do produce the heir at all costs, and no one should ask how. And Varuna denotes a type of creation that we need to do something out of necessity. We are in the middle of another pandemic. It's ridiculous. I'm recording this on the 24th of July, probably posting it on the 26th if you want to do some little magic, because the Leo new moon is always very, very strong. So you should have the energy patterns at your disposal. And just yesterday, the WHO announced that now the monkeypox is a pandemic or a threat or something like that, just because 5, and I say 5 people died of it. So how much more ridiculous can this become? Come on. Okay, stop playing with us, really, really. Anyhow, so Varuna is linked to creation out of necessity. We need to produce something in order to survive, in order to start a family, in order to start a dynasty, in order to have a future. So think about this with the new moon. We need to produce something in order to have a new outcome or a new start. There's a planetary picture in the London chart. And again, this is something that you will only have in the London chart. You will have all the planets that are there, or asteroids that are there, will form a picture, but not the MCIC, not the IC. On the MC, you do have Hygeia, so that is going to be there. So there's a T-square in the London chart, a fixed T-square with the Sun Moon. Ceres is shortly behind, so I haven't included it. So I just left it there for you to see, but the T-square is the Sun, Moon, MC Hygeia, and IC in Taurus. MC Hygeia shows that we need to put things in order. We need to create a safe space around us. And no, not the safe space, my dear American fellow man who is a university student and think of space and trigger warnings and other nonsenses. No, we need to put the world in as a safe space. We need to create safety around us and need to put things in order. And for our own home, for our anchoring principle, for our roots. That is what the Sun, Moon are highlighting. And this really is dissolved by Vesta, the focusing principle. It's actually, this is not a dissolved opposition, sorry, this is dissolved square, sorry. Opposition can be opposition, okay. Oh. It's both, actually. It is, the Vesta is actually dissolving the T-square, but it's also the dissolved opposition with the MC Hygeia conjunction and the IC, and that's how it dissolves it. And you also have a Thor's hammer. That's a Thor's hammer. So that you have Hygeia, Sun, Moon, and the Astrea Juno at its apex. And Thor's hammer is always a very difficult configuration because it only has difficult corners, so to speak. You have a fixed square, which is always the worst of the squares because it's rigid and you haven't even tried to resolve it. And it's always worth looking at the two sesquiquadrates in the Thor's hammer configuration, because one of them will be in same elements. And here you can see that it's the Hygeia and the Juno Astrea, which are in water signs. So this is where you can start working on this. So with someone that you love or you consider your partner, together you can actually break all embedded karma, create a new perspective, a healthier and more orderly perspective with the help of the Sun Moon conjunction, the Leo new. Let's take a look at the transcendental celestial objects in this planetary picture. On Sun Moon, you have the Pythia, Hypnos, Amenhotep, Varuna. We spoke about this. And on Ceres, Dione, Isis, and Ceres. I'm not going to elaborate this anymore because you can find it at the beginning of the video. On the midheaven, besides Hygeia, you have Athene, which is not Pallas Athena, the asteroid number 3. It's actually a separate asteroid, and it's linked to Athens and linked to home. How to defend your home. Semele, who was the lover of Zeus, and she's the mother of Dionysus. Babel, which usually describes a situation where people don't understand each other and are no longer able to communicate. And Shiva, the Slavonic love goddess, love and money goddess, I should say, and also war. So it's like, that's on the MC. On the IC, you have Asteria, the asteroid of astrology and clairvoyance and all kinds of divination. And two fixed stars, Hama, which is Alpha Aries, 2.2 magnitude is a very bright star, and Shadir, which is Alpha Cassiopeia. One is a very feminine star, Shadir. It's the feminine crown, really, and it's the feminine playfulness. And Hamal, which is one of the stars of healing birds for male aggression and masculinity. Both are very bright stars. On Vesta, you have Deneb Adiga. It has been there for a while. This is the alpha star of Deneb Adiga, the alpha star of Cygnus, sorry. It's a very, very bright star. You can see that it is 1.3. It's one of the shaman stars, by the way. And on Juno Astraea, you have Heracles, the hero, and Markab, which is Alpha Pegasus. And then on, I think I said everything, yes. And let's take a look at these fixed stars. This is Hamal, Alpha Aries, which is one of the eyes or one of the horns of the celestial ram. Shadir is Cassiopeia, the alpha star of Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is a V-shaped, a W-shaped constellation, and this is the alpha star of it, and it's linked to femininity, the queen energy. And Pegasus is the flying horse that comes out of the head of Medusa when Perseus cuts Medusa's head. Markab is the alpha star, and it's usually bright ideas coming into your forefront. And then Deneb Adiga, which is Alpha Cygnus, the alpha star of the celestial swan. So those are the constellations of this space-time moment. So happy Leo new moon. You can start anything that is that requires creativity, also insight, because the sun and the moon are conjunct, and they are both highlighting and illuminating, of course, whatever it shines. It's actually the degree is about 5.5 degrees. So if you have things at especially fire and air signs at 5-6 degrees in your chart, this is the new moon to utilize. But even if you don't have anything at 5-6 degrees, you can still utilize it because it's one of the strongest new moons because the sun is in its own sign. Okay, happy new moon, and thank you for listening. Bye.